Welcome everyone, it's Steve again with Pure Energy Factor, and today I have Wade Lightheart. Now some of you, my friends, don't know who Wade Lightheart is, but I try to represent the raw vegan diet in its highest light, and I talk about protein, and as you guys can see, you can see all the protein I have, but then really, there's guys like Wade, and you can't really see right now, but look him up online and you will see this dude is not like kind of buff. This guy is yoked. This guy is like roof. And he eats eggs and meat and dairy, and no, this guy's a raw frickin' vegan. And so tell us, Wade, what do you do? What are you eating to get these yolks?
Well, I think first off, it's an evolution, and it's a constant evolution. So one of the biggest things is I want to encourage anybody that's watching this is there's no rigid position. I don't profess that I know everything or understand everything. What I can share from experience is that I came from a carnivore. Yeah. I started out, I grew up in an environment where you ate everything, meat everything, and that was the bodybuilding world, that was the athletic performance, and all the models of performance were built on that.
Yes.
They were built on this is what you need to do, and that became a sociological, cultural, biological, mental programming that now propagates itself.
Yeah.
And so the first step to get to where I am is to first unwire the mind, because when I first made the switch, I was absolutely terrified.
Yes.
I was terrified that if I didn't eat meat or I didn't do this, I was going to waste away. Because let's not underestimate how strong mental conditioning is. Whether you're a raw foodie, whether you're a meat eater, whether you're somewhere in between,
yes,
your mental conditioning. So first we want to open up the brain cells and say, hey, let's not just condemn, let's just open up to the possibility. And I had to open that, and the opening will bring up the fear, the opposite. The fear is contraction, but there's an anabolic response or a catabolic response. So let's start with that first.
Yeah.
Once you address that, you go, okay, well, let's do an experiment. So I started experimenting with vegetarian food. So I switched to a vegetarian diet. I went for 2 weeks. I didn't fade away. I was like, okay, maybe I'll go 2 weeks more. I didn't fade away. So I went, let's go another month. I went 2 months. I was like, okay,
yes,
let's go for it. And I haven't eaten meat since. Now, I'm not here to condemn meat eaters. I'm not here to put anybody down or anything. I just didn't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing was though I was working in a high performance athlete. I was a natural bodybuilder, champion, that sort of thing. And so it's like, how do I adopt that? Because traditionally, the raw food community is primarily based on detoxification and improving the health through that,
yes,
and then some nutrification to perform different functions of the body. And there's so much great information about that, and I embrace it all, learn it all, get on that. And so, but for me as an athlete,
yes,
it wasn't dealing with my needs as an athlete. Because I'm subjecting my body, and I believe that you should eat towards your function. If you're an endurance guy, you need to do the things of an endurance guy. If you're an MMA guy, you got to do this training for MMA. If you're sick, each one, you need to eat for the modality that you're trying to achieve. So as I went through it, when I first went into this program, and I think this is what happens to a lot of meat eaters. I'm really going on in this conversation. What happens is we try to adopt a meat-eating mentality,
right,
to a plant-based diet.
Right.
And that's a mistake number one, and that's what I did. And in 2003, I switched over to a primarily plant-based diet, okay? So I did do some dairy stuff and that sort of thing, like whey protein, and I discovered I could look a certain way, but I felt like garbage. So I was suffering from the effects of my past conditioning as I tried to integrate the new way. And so I went to the Mr. Universe contest. Pictures looked great and all that sort of stuff. But after that contest, I gained 42 pounds of fat and water in 11 weeks. Wow. This opened up because, the great thing about challenges in life is that it opens you up to the next possibility, because you're face to face with, I'm not doing the right thing.
Yes.
So everything I'd learned up to that point, keep in mind, I was a trainer, a nutritionist, an exercise physiologist. I'd done all this training, thousands of people. Now I knew something was wrong, and I discovered a fellow by the name of Michael O'Brien. He taught me about raw food. He taught about acid-alkaline balance, enzymes, probiotics, how to access amino acids from live-based plants, and that sort of thing, which I didn't understand prior to that. So I started integrating that, and I actually retired from my competitive career and started just working on that to work out protocols and how to do this as a high-performance athlete, because the reality is, the food quality today wherever you're accessing it. I don't care if you got the pristine raw food of all that sort of stuff. The environmental toxins, the environmental conditions that humanity is subject is putting extra stressors on the human condition. And almost everything in the westernized world, for sure, is a much depleted state from its original state of food. So we have to account for those things. So as we did that, now it took me about 4 years to figure this all out. At the end of 4 years, I took everything that I knew, threw it all into the soup can, and compressed it. What I was able to achieve is normally it takes anywhere between 4 to 6 months preparation for a contest, and I had been retired for 3.5 years. And what I did is I took all this stuff that I learned, piled all the wind, got ready for the national championships in 3.5 weeks from being retired for all these years.
Wow.
Won it, both my categories, junior masters and my regular open men's category, and ended up going to the Worlds again and did better the next time at the Worlds than I did the first time. So what I knew is I was confident that what I had, what I had learned, and what I had integrated was something valuable because my colleagues in the field said what you've just achieved isn't possible. And it's not about possibility. It wasn't possible with the paradigm that I learned, that they learned, and they understand. So I'm not condemning them. I'm just like, here's how I did it. Here's what it is. And I'm just openly sharing it with anybody who wants to know and how to interact it. And if you don't like something, just throw it away. If you like it, take it.
Yeah.
Simple.
So awesome. So the first thing, you know, he said a very key point here, and I first heard it from my first mentor, Yoda. You must unlearn what you have learned. I mean, and so, I mean, there it is. It's like when we come from a meat-eating based mindset, then we're going to try to do this raw vegan diet like a meat eater would. Instead of like, maybe we don't know anything, maybe we could just wipe the slate clean and start fresh, and then we'll be open to receive the messages that come instead of being closed off.
Exactly.
And your workouts, it sounds like recovery time has decreased, and you're able to do more workouts and get better results quicker based on the last part of the story you told me.
Yeah, the combination of factors that we learned and integrated allowed us to produce a better performance result.
Yes.
And that's, to me, at the end of the day, that's all that counts.
Yes.
As an athlete, you are measured in your quality by can you achieve the goals you want on the physical field or whatever that medium is.
Yes.
In medical
Yes.
industry, it's can you heal the person.
Yes.
So once I was able to do that, then I was confident in sharing the message to anybody else who wanted to experience that for themselves.
Nice. Well, I know for me, I definitely want to start to build up. I've been doing what he was saying. I've been breaking down in detoxification, and now I want to start to regenerate 2013. I never want to get as big as you, but I still have a lot to learn from you because I do want to get a little bit bigger, and I myself want to be kind of like thin muscular.
Right.
And but just to see, like when I first saw Wade on one of Marcus Rothbrandt's videos, I was just like, oh my God. You know, like, you know, there's all these little skinny vegans, you know, and I didn't want to be one of those. And then I see Wade, and I'm like, okay, this is serious business. This is like gorilla shit right here. This is like
big silverback.
Big silverback. You know, and it's like, so it is possible.
Totally, absolutely.
So before we go, would you like to mention your website, how people can get a hold of you?
We actually give the bodybuilding program away to anybody who wants it. I built a 5-year system to take everything, and I give it out to the world because, largely in part, the world has been just deprogrammed or programmed into manipulation of insecurities that people have. A lot of people have body insecurities. They think they're too fat. For men, they're not muscular enough, or all these things. And rather than play on all that stuff, because we know we all got programmed out, here, just take the program, learn the stuff, have it. You can go to get it at wadelightheart.com. Yep. If for some reason you can't find it on the site, just email me.
Yes.
We'll get you hooked up. We'll get it sent out to you, and then you can start learning piece by piece in a sequential way that you can integrate at a pace that you're comfortable with. Because keep in mind, I mean, not everybody makes the shift that quickly. It's a gradual process because we have to deprogram oftentimes decades of programming or belief systems. And then as you start to integrate it and start to feel it and trust your own body, deduce to learn from within, you bring up, that's where education comes from, then you become self-aware and you go through the periods of detoxification, release, and then rebuild and revitalize, and then finally relax, just chill out and enjoy it.
Right on. Well, thank you very
Hey,
much,
man,
brother.
thank you so much.
That's so awesome.
All right, so WadeLightheart.com, go there. Woo! We'll get you pumped up.
Yes, just like me.
There you go.
Bye, everybody. Thank
you
you.
now.
Woo!